Greetings, this is Bruce Ferris here with Windermere Real Estate. It's the 6th of October, another version of This Week in Seattle Real Estate, a little bit earlier this week. We're going to take a look at the relationship between inventory absorption and pricing in Seattle and see if there's a corollary between the two of them. What we'll be doing is tracking and taking a look at the different sets of inventory absorption versus new inventory coming on market. That's the red and the blue here. And then the graphing of different pricing plateaus that have taken place since the beginning of 2014. Our resources are looking at the wonderful Alan Pope and Associates website, where he provides a monthly update of different locations. So here we're looking at generally the in-city area of Seattle, from Main Street, Seattle, all the way up to about 145th. And blue is new inventory coming on market, and red is inventory being taken off market through pending transactions. And we can see here, since beginning of 2015, we have an excess of pendings, a short eclipse here at this point in the latter part of 2016, where inventory eclipses pendings, but then pendings took back over again, and that explains the rapidly escalating markets that we've been dealing with. But take a look here, mid-2018 we had a crest, and at that point inventory almost doubled at 1586 compared to where it used to be at 727. Well, that's over double. But interestingly here, we see that the number of pendings taking place, the reds, are almost unaffected even by that inventory surge that we had at that point. More graphically here, we can see the absorption of inventory, where there were points where it was above, just barely above 200% absorption, and now we are down just above 50% in the 56.4 as of last month. If I go back to my daily sheet that we work on, we track every day those coming into market, those going into pending inspection, and currently we're seeing just below 60% of listings coming onto market are being taken out simultaneously, the amount of volume that is. And of that, roughly 30% of those pendings are being taken out within 6 days or less. So there are still quite a few strong pockets of what we'll call competing marketplaces at this point. Median price per square foot crested October 2018 at 451. We are now at 436, but we're still well above where we were at the beginning of January at 418. And you can see there's a plateauing taking place here. Median sales price for these different locations. This is the black is Seattle overall. The green is the what I'll call the north, mid-north hot area from Ballard over View Ridge. Then orange is Capitol Hill, Montlake, etc., the center, and then the purple is south of I-90. So we can see that at this point in time, we're still seeing an uptick in overall Seattle, in Ballard, View Ridge, etc., and a slight receding taking place here in the south of I-90. So let's go take a look at these numbers and see if the corollary is there. And that's what I'm really after in this analysis. And we've spent a considerable amount of time working on this. This first chart here is again the Alan Pope chart, and we're putting it up here, and then we're running the exact same dates here below it with a series of different analyses from MWMLS. And I'm looking at 3-bedroom residential properties built prior to 1980, and we can see here as these ebbs and flows of seasonal up here in the upper area, and then finally this crest. We have a little bit of similarity in our pricing, but you can see that from the beginning of 2014, we had a steady rise with a little bit of dip here and there, all the way to our crest right there at the early mid part of 2018. We dropped back down and then surged again, rallied again, and then a little bit of receding taking place. If I do the same thing looking at price per square foot, it's almost identical looking at the sets, of course. Interestingly, we do have an uptick in price per square foot taking place. It's going to be interesting to look at next month. When I look at the median percent of last list price, and this is the sort of mythical number that people quote all the time, is our property selling over at list price or at list price. And again, if I look up here to these surges and look down, we really have 5 significant points over the last 5 years. The first one was in early 2014, where we had a slight uptick in sales price to list price ratios, and then we had a little bit stronger one that lasted for a lot longer in 2015. Then we had our first sort of what I'll call radical spike that everybody was kind of taken aback by, and things were on average, just below 104%. Then it went nuts in 2017 and 2018. We went to 106+% and just about 107.75% in terms of sale price list price ratio. If we look at that relationship then between our sales prices and price per square foot, we see these same things taking place. And interestingly, here is all of a sudden where the market said, no, let's not do that anymore. And inventory increased beyond that point, and our median sales price and median price per square foot dropped. And for the first time, we actually had a below 100% sales price list price ratio average taking place. Months supply of homes on the market is almost going to be opposite then, when all of a sudden we have this surge right here. You can see it echoed here in the MLS as well, as this comes down and as our price comes down. Heading down here. Now this is interesting. This shows just the average, this shows the typical ebb and flow of pending sales throughout the year coming in from 2014. And then we have a little bit of a lag here where the closed sales, which come usually 30 to 45 days after that, come along. And there's very little difference here in terms of this number and this number in terms of the volume. And so I'm not seeing this affecting this very much down here, down here in terms of that. And I see this point right here being what happened to our price. So there's your corollary there, but I don't see it at all in these earlier ones. Finally, looking down here at the Allen Pope chart, I think I pointed this out a few minutes ago. This is the 200+% that we were dealing with in 2016 and 17 and into 18. And then what we'll call the correction that took place, and we went precipitously low at 42.7 from an owner-seller point of view, and then we're just under 60%, I believe, here at this point. So that is the analysis at this point. We are at October, obviously, and if we look historically, let's go ahead and zoom in here. Historically, actually, why don't I just go to Allen's site? It's a little bit easier to read. Let's see his October numbers here. So we see a decline taking place in terms of volume. Over here, we see the same decline taking place in volume. Over here in October, we have 681 versus 883. So 2018 was definitely lower. Let's get over as far as we possibly can. We're at 913 in July. Let's see where we were. We were at 754 in 2018. And in July, we were at 843. So we're actually, believe it or not, we're higher at this point in terms of our actual pendings than we have been back here in these situations. So we're a little bit more inventory in the marketplace, or even let's call it double inventory in the marketplace, is healthy for the amount of pending sales that are taking place. And that's it. We are at minute 8:03, and I hope that was illuminating for you. Pardon my voice. I've picked up the Seattle cold going around, so I'm a little bit more relaxed today. Give a call if you have any questions. Look forward to talking to you, and I hope this is of help. Take care. Bye-bye.